What's good, guys? So currently this game is so freaking expensive. We have so many cards that are all over $100. The entry cost to play this game competitively is very high right now. And today I want to just talk about a few inexpensive cards that you guys can play. Not everybody is going to be super privileged and going to have all these cards like Magician's Soul, Extravagance, Lightning Storm in their deck. So today I'm going to talk about some ways to save some money, play some cheaper cards until you are ready to pick up the stronger cards. Let's get right into it. So for the side deck, Super Polymerization, very underlooked card. I think this card is really good right now, specifically because there's a monster that came out in Ignition Assault that not a lot of people are talking about. Let's just quickly go over what this does. You discard one card, and then you confusion summon one monster from your extra deck using monsters from either player's side of the field, and the opponent cannot react to this card. So that's why this card's kind of crazy, because Trigate won't be able to negate, and nothing will be able to really negate it. No spells and traps can react to it. No judgment, no nothing like that. The card that came out in Ignition Assault that makes this card really strong right now is this, the Earth Golem at Ignister. The only thing that's good about this, I'm not going to read the effect. The effect is neat, but the material is what's important. It's one Cyberse monster plus one Link monster. So why is this good? Currently, Spirals is by far the best deck, and their ending boards are usually Appaloosa with Trigate linked with two Link monsters, and then a sleeper on the side. It's some variation with this with that kind of board. Maybe sometimes it'll be even stronger than that. But the good thing about Super Poly and this card is you could just fuse away the Appaloosa and the Trigate, and then the only thing left to deal with is the sleeper. So it like Super Poly is actually really good, and this card's been reprinted. This card's dirt cheap. You guys should definitely think about playing Super Polymerization again. I think it's very underlooked right now. A lot of going second deck should just main deck this card. I thought people can even consider siding it because it's only just one monster that you need to play. You could even play the other fusion monster, Starving Venom, and all that, but this card's really good. The materials are really generic. Once like you could hit IP with something else with it. There's a lot of different things you could do with this card. So I think it's very neat, very underlooked, and cheap. That's the goal right now. Some cheap cards you guys could be using. Next card, Droll and Lockbird. I'm sure I've talked about this many times. You guys can main deck this card or side deck. It's up to you if you're locals or the regionals that you're going to, if you think that you're going to see Spirals a lot. But Droll and Lockbird does hit a bunch of rogue decks too, so I think it warrants the main deck. But you could do either. If this card is, if any card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, you could discard this card, and for the rest of the turn, nothing else can be added from the main deck to the hand. Very generic, very good card. It's just come back into the format. Spirals really can't play around it. They'd have to have Call by the Grave. Really good card. And it has a freaking common. The commons, I believe, like $5. So relatively inexpensive compared to like Lightning Storm, $100 kind of thing. So definitely have Droll and Lockbird. I want to talk about another hand trap. The next card I'm going to talk about is it's almost as good as Droll and Lockbird. I think it's the next best hand trap after Droll and Lockbird. It's DD Crow. What does it do? You quick effect, you can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish that target. So it does not have to be a monster. It can be any card. It's a dark, so Allure, if your deck plays Allure. DD Crow has a million reprints. This card's very cheap. I think it's really good. If you're not main decking this card, please side deck this card. You guys will love this card. This card has a chance to end Spiral's turn because their plays usually start with sending. Unless their hand's crazy, it starts with sending the planner to the graveyard, and then they have to waste another card to revive the planner. So that's two cards that they are committing to their play, and the DD Crow can just remove the planner out. So I think it's really underrated, really good card, and you guys should definitely think about it. This card's dirt cheap, and that's the name of the game right now. And the final few cards, they are all in the same category. The Kaijus. I'm shocked that people are not side decking the Kaijus as much as I thought they would. The Kaijus are really good, and unlike Sphere Mode, Lava Golem, all those weird cards, these cards do not use your normal summon, so that's very good. I think the Kaiju, what the Kaijus do is you could tribute any monster to on your opponent's side of the field, special summon it. Why the Kaijus are really good, and it's not just Gamma Seal, it's literally all of them. Dogoran, Radiant. I know Gamma Seal is a little bit more expensive, but there's other ones. They've all had tons of reprints besides the dark one, I believe, but you can find them on the cheap. You guys do not have to go for the highest rarity card. So why the Kaijus are really good is because not only do they just hit random threats, like you could literally side this whenever you're going second, but the kaiju against the spiral field, you have the option to deal with the sleeper equipped with last resort that most decks cannot deal with. You could do that, or you can tribute the Appaloosa, and it'll make it so the Trigate does not cannot negate any cards anymore, and you essentially outed Appaloosa and their negate. So the only thing left is to deal with the sleeper. So you have the option to pick what can your deck deal with, what your deck can deal with, and you just deal with that threat. So Gameciel, Dogoran, Radiant, any of the kaijus. There's even other ones. I don't think it really even matters as long as you guys can beat over the kaijus. The kaijus are good cards. They're cheap cards, guys. Like, I know the game. I know I went over this, but like Lightning Storm is so expensive, and I don't think everybody's going to be able to afford Lightning Storm off the bat. This we're just off the Ignition Assault set release, so it's around $300 to have a playset of this, and it's just not realistic, especially if a lot of players have their invites, are ready for nationals, and they do not, they're just trying to hold back. They're chilling out until the YCSs, and they do not need this card. So if you guys don't need this card, save some money, get some of these other cards. Super Polymerization, this Ignister card, Super Polymerization just got reprinted. This Ignister card is a common. The game is expensive, don't get me wrong right now. Like, obviously, if you guys have the option to get these other cards, get them. Yeah, just don't blow the bank getting these cards. You guys do not need these cards to win the game. A lot of people like to say this game is pay to win, but there are some alternatives. It's easier with the better cards, but guys, Joel and Lockbird, DD Crow, Super Poly, all these cards, the kaijus, they are relatively inexpensive, and you guys should definitely look into getting some of these cards. Let me know if I missed out on any other inexpensive cards. There's a ton of them. This idea that like you have to drop like $300-400 just on your side deck, you do not have to do that. You could definitely win games without those cards. Trust me, I've done it many times. I do not have Lightning Storm. I'll get them later, but I don't have any events to go to, and that's a lot of players right there. So just deal with some of these weaker cards, and it'll be fine. DD Crow is very good right now. I think this card's underrated as hell. Kaiju's underrated as hell. All these cards. Joel and Lockbird, everybody already knows about it, but I just want to talk about it again just to reiterate how freaking cheap the best hand trap is. Both these hand traps are dirt cheap right now. So guys, let me know if I missed out on anything, how good these cards really are. And yeah, don't break the bank getting Lightning Storm. Let me know anything else. Guys, subscribe. Stay tuned.